Welcome to the America Matters radio show. I'm your host, April Lejeune. This is where those truly seeking truth come for on-point analysis of the key issues and current events we face every day in the United States of America. Strip away the slogans, the hashtags, and the emotional bait, and what's left is a much darker reality than anyone wants to admit. When truth becomes negotiable and outrage becomes currency, destruction follows every single time. Accusations of conspiracy theories, twisting words, and manipulation aren't going to cut it anymore. This is reality. Recently, new video footage emerged from the body cam of the officer involved in the Minnesota shooting of Renee Good. We're going to take a look at this footage and more as we dive into what is really happening with these brutal encounters. According to federal officials, the officer fired after Ms. Good's vehicle moved toward him during a chaotic encounter. Local officials dispute that characterization. However, in the footage, you can clearly hear the moment of impact when the car meets the officer's leg.
Change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking president. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
Whoa!
Good was also involved with the obstruction group Ice Watch, which had an active presence in Minneapolis. According to the woman involved with Good, they engaged in training that instructed participants on how to report and obstruct officers. It has also been reported on social media that Good's lesbian lover stated she recruited Good to move to Minneapolis specifically to join Ice Watch and assist with protests against ICE. Instead of engaging in facts, the left immediately turned to word definitions, twisted narratives, physical protests, and dangerous rhetoric.
Save our life! Kill and ice! 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 Save our life! Kill and ice!
Let me say to this federal agencies and ICE, this is Oregon. We do not need you. You're not welcome, and you need to get the hell out of our community.
If any law enforcement agent, any ICE agent, is going to come to Philly to commit crimes, then you can get the F out of here. Because if you do that here, I will charge you with those crimes. You will be arrested. You will stand trial. You will be convicted, whether it's in state or federal court. It's my office prosecuting it. That's how the law works. And you will do your time, because Donald Trump cannot pardon you for a state court conviction. Do you hear me?
Just watch how the left is protesting Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem with chants calling for her hanging. Here's a fact that rarely gets said out loud. ICE and Border Patrol agents today are enforcing the same federal immigration laws that existed under Obama, Biden, and Clinton. The statutes did not suddenly change. What did change is the media framing and the political exploitation of enforcement for outrage, because they have been told to hate President Trump and obstruct him at every turn. They have even pushed aside their own responsibilities to family and children to flaunt their open hatred in public.
Dear ICE, here's a message from your friendly neighborhood leftist. Not all of us are going to stop at snowballs in the future. So maybe think twice before you just start randomly shooting into vehicles.
And some of us aren't just going to fucking randomly fire into things. Some of us actually know how to aim.
So, you don't have to take my advice if you don't want to. But I'm pretty sure we're going to hit a tipping point pretty soon. And if you guys don't reconsider your tactics, you're going to start going home in body bags. Or Ziploc bags. I really don't give a shit either way.
Here's more video of these terrifying toddlers as they further put themselves in danger, believing the consequences will end in their martyrdom. So when people are told that ICE agents are somehow acting unlawfully now, that claim collapses under even basic scrutiny. Disagree with the law if you want, but don't pretend it was invented yesterday.
Step back. She hit a vehicle. Stay back
We now have widespread video evidence of civilians deliberately following ICE and Border Patrol agents, surrounding them, obstructing their movement, and inserting themselves directly into enforcement operations.
If I continually see you following us, interfering with us, honking your horn, blocking our cars, you have a very high probability of making a really bad decision and being arrested today, okay?
I think I'm making exactly
I'm not.
the right decision.
Oh, then why are you giving her a warning?
I'm giving her a warning to not interfere with what we're doing, to not make a bad decision today and ruin your life.
Whoa, bad
Okay,
decisions.
thank you.
That's funny coming from you.
Okay, alrighty. Thank you. Have a good day.
I hope you have a terrible day.
Okay, thank you. Hold on. Watch out, it's slippery. Watch out.
Yeah, there's a lot of ice around here.
Just so you know, if we continue to have you follow us, okay, have fun. Don't make a bad decision today.
Let's be very clear. These are not peaceful protests. This is interference with law enforcement. And although I have said on many occasions that I am not a fan of unlawfully enforcing unconstitutional policies and statutes, in this case, preventing massive numbers of invaders from entering this country to deliberately infiltrate our society is constitutional. The President of the United States has a duty to carry this out, whether the enemy is domestic or foreign. When civilians intentionally place themselves between officers and their lawful duties, they create dangerous conditions for officers, for themselves, and for everyone nearby. No rational person benefits from escalating chaos around armed officers in high-stress situations. Here's where we need to zoom out. What we are witnessing is not organic resistance, it is manufactured martyrdom. People are being sold the idea that obstructing federal agents makes them heroic, that risking injury or death somehow proves moral virtue. But historically, this pattern has a name. It's a loyalty ritual. This escalation does not happen in a vacuum. Media outlets and political figures bear responsibility when they use emotionally charged language, distort facts, and signal moral approval for reckless behavior.
Let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
These politicians and the media should be held responsible for the words that come out of their mouths. Inciting violence is a criminal act and should be harshly punished. Politicians will claim violence was not their intent. They've been coached on how to keep their toes on the line, but now it's clear they don't care about stepping over it. Look at what Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, along with other local leaders, have said about attacking ICE agents. They have told local law enforcement to stand down. They have ordered no assistance for anyone helping ICE, Border Patrol, or even coming to the rescue of independent journalists documenting the illegal activities of those who believe they are helping their neighbors. When leaders normalize obstruction, glorify confrontation, or suggest that federal agents are legitimate targets of public hostility, they are playing with human lives. That is not leadership. It's plain irresponsibility. It's also important to understand the broader context in Minnesota right now. The state has been under intense federal scrutiny due to large-scale fraud cases involving misuse of taxpayer funds in state-administered programs. As part of that environment, criminal referrals have been submitted to the Department of Justice concerning the actions or inactions of Minnesota officials, including Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison. A referral is not a conviction, but it does mean federal authorities have been asked to investigate potential wrongdoing. Public trust depends on accountability at every level. When enforcement is demonized, when mobs are encouraged, and when reason is replaced with slogans, a society does not become more just. It becomes more dangerous. Civilization does not collapse overnight. It erodes. When lying stops having consequences, when law is replaced by emotion, and when obedience to narrative matters more than truth, we are regressing. There is no progression. And this is not an isolated incident. Just one day after the Minneapolis ICE shooting, another federal enforcement shooting occurred, this time involving a U.S. Border Patrol agent in Portland. During a vehicle stop outside a hospital, federal officials say the driver attempted to run over Border Patrol agents. An agent opened fire, shooting 2 people inside the vehicle. Notice what keeps happening. Once again, a vehicle is allegedly used as a weapon. Federal officers respond to a perceived lethal threat. An outrage explodes before investigations are complete. The FBI has taken over the investigation, while local officials are already demanding reviews. The escalation is spreading. When obstruction, confrontation, and interference with federal law enforcement are normalized, encounters become more volatile, not less. Vehicles turn into weapons, crowds turn into shields, and officers are forced into split-second decisions no one wants, but that obstruction makes inevitable. The left is manufacturing conflict and the beginnings of civil war. You do not have to like every law to understand that chaos is not justice. You do not have to trust every official to know that mob behavior is not moral clarity. The real test of a society is whether it can disagree without self-destructing. And right now, too many people are being encouraged to cross lines they will later regret by people who will never bear the consequences themselves. That's the truth.
Cracks in the dark light breaks through shadows. Hollow hearts finding hope.